My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, but also getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. You can find the link to our playlist in the show notes. Welcome to episode 50. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is Godlands. The Australian DJ and producer is releasing her new EP today, entitled Thank You for Raging. In today's episode, we're talking about touring with Steve Aoki, producing for other artists, and her love of hip-hop. Here we go. Today is a DJ, songwriter and producer from Adelaide, Australia. She released the single My Weakness featuring Brux earlier this year and is now releasing her EP entitled Thank You for Raging. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Godlands. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Look, I think I just located my knee on the weekend, so I guess I'm okay. Panadine helps. Panadine really helps.
Well, I'm glad to hear the Panadol was working. Was it sporting related, recreation related? What are we?
Yes, it was sporting related. So I've decided to get back into football after the pandemic. I thought, okay, I'll do that again just to get fit again. And yeah, much like my brothers, I've injured my knee. It was very painful. I do not recommend.
Is it a case of, you know how sometimes when you haven't exercised or played sport for a while and you try to go back that those pains can be good?
Yeah, it's also the case of not knowing your age and your body's age. Do you know what I mean? Just accept that you're getting old and you're not quite as nimble as you used to be. So.
I will continually accept that and then forget it, try and do it again, and then it never
I tend to forget when I'm drinking at the club, and the next day you definitely get reminded of your age.
100%. I feel like the hangovers get worse after a certain time period.
Oh yeah, 25, it all goes downhill.
Yes, I'm a little bit older than that, but yes, I will agree with that as well.
Oh yeah.
Almost kind of in line with what we're talking about. The EP, Thank You for Raging, is out now. Congratulations. How long has the EP kind of been in the works?
Thank you. It's actually been, I would say, over a year and a half for sure. Obviously, when the pandemic hit, it sort of resetted everything. Obviously, it resetted the whole world. But in terms of my work life, I obviously didn't have anything to do. And but it gave me a really great opportunity to hone down on my skills. And that's exactly what I did all last year. And it sort of comes through in this EP. The quality of music has definitely increased because of that. And so that's probably one thing I'm very grateful for. It gave me enough time to give back to my music, because before that, it was a lot of touring and like working and all that sort of stuff. And it never gave me a chance to sort of sit down and really, hone in on those skills.
Did you find some producers and some DJs that we've spoken to, like they taught themselves new skills, some downloaded Logic for the first time? Was it that kind of thing where you're like, I've got this time, might as well learn how Ableton works in this regard, or whatever it may be?
Totally. I remember, so I was coming off the back of a tour in America with Steve Aoki, and I was like trying to get home. And as I was quarantining out the back, we've got like a shed thing out the back. My brother made me stay there for a week, 2 weeks. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to start learning new things, and like wanted to learn how to 3D sculpt, because there's this, so there's this like app you can use, like Blender, and it's free and it's amazing for a free app. And just decided to try and learn how to 3D model, like especially like my logos and stuff. I'm like, if I could cut down costs with designers, especially for the next year, it'll save me a bit of money. But I'm definitely not as good. I'll probably just pay a designer, to be honest.
I was going to ask what the finished result was like, or whether we've seen or will see any of them.
Actually, I do use one of the designs in my visuals. You could probably spot it from a mile away. They're like, yeah, that's the one she did. But I have used it. It's one of those things where I stick to it for like a week, and then I'm on to the next thing. It's probably an issue I have to sort out. But that's along with music, man. Like I'm the same. I'm like, I'll be really into an idea for like a day, and then I'm like, nah, next. If it's not flowing properly, I have to sort of keep going. Otherwise I'll go nuts.
How much time would you usually give to an idea, if you will? Like if you sit down and you've got this thought, or even like you've got like a foundation for something, how long will you give it before you're like, nah, scrapped?
It sort of depends. Like I will really smash an idea. Like I will smash it to the point where it's not even the original idea. And then I'll sort of like take a step back and listen to it and be like, that is absolute shit. That was so tears. Like, or it'll be, I'll do it for an afternoon and it won't really work, and I'll be all right, next. So, it really is dependent on how I feel that day. I could spend like a week on an idea and it just not really come to fruition how I would want it to be, or it will become 20 different other ideas. You just never know.
One of the tracks on the EP, Out My Face, I believe that has maybe like a similar story or a backstory, if you will, is that it started out as a hip-hop track and then kind of morphed into a trap song. How did that happen, or what was tell us about the journey of that song.
The journey. The long-winded journey. That did start off as a hip-hop beat, and I sort of just wanted to keep with the whole Godlands thing of keeping it so it was like festival friendly or show friendly and not just flat, if that makes sense. Like I can make a hip-hop track, of course, but I just wanted to explore it as a trap banger, I suppose. And so, I messed around with a lot of ideas, whether I wanted to go heavier, because I have done a lot of heavier stuff. And I thought it was such a light track that I wanted to keep it pretty like held back and stripped down, and it just came up with a more of a housey sort of sound to it with the lead. And I just wanted to keep it light. I didn't want to go heavy. I didn't want to go dubsteppy or anything like that, because it's quite easy to go that route, and I wanted to keep it pretty and radio friendly, I think, is probably, I think my manager's like, come on, keep it radio friendly. Because the harder you go, the harder it is to get on radio. I'm telling you that right now. So, yeah.
I can, very, very fair. When you do have some things that might not be as radio friendly, if you will, have you thought about producing for others and like kind of like selling them off in a way?
Yeah, that's definitely crossed my mind. I just don't really know how to go about it. Like, how do you go say, hey, do you need a track or something like that? I don't really know. I think I just keep them on the back burner. I just have like thousands of projects that are just like, well, that doesn't really suit my brand. but it's a cool track. So whether it might be a collaborative thing or I do sell it off, there's like so many of those. Like there's a lot of hip hop beats that are just like, I want to work with someone, whether I don't release it under Godlands, I would love to just like give it off to someone, either sell it or have a bit of what's called like a bit of profit with that. So it's just a matter of getting the feelers out there and seeing how to go about it. So if anyone wants beats, hit me up.
We will send this to as many hip hop artists that we can and see what it comes back with. Speaking of collaborations, you do have Brux on the EP, or some might remember her as Elizabeth Rose or Liz.
Yes.
How did this collaboration come about on My Weakness?
Basically, I was just trolling through Australian artists and just finding voices that I really liked and that could be quite powerful for the next track, because this track is very honest in itself, a very strong instrumental, and with that comes you do need a very strong vocal to level it out. And so I was just trolling through. There was a lot of people. I was like, oh yeah, they could be good. And then I came across Brux. And she's always been on the back of my mind because I've heard her known her as Elizabeth Rose and stuff. And I sort of just hit her up over Instagram and I was like, hey, I've got this track. What do you think? Like, would you like to throw down some vocals on it? She's like, yeah, totally. And she came up with some of her version of it. But I had also sort of sent it out to top liners to write on, and Kite String Tangle hit me back with a sick top line, and he wasn't available to actually sing it. So I asked if Brux could do it, and she did it and killed it, and I was pretty happy with it.
Nice. It is a fantastic track.
Thank you.
I also feel almost tying it back, that approach could be taken with some hip-hop artists as well. If you just slide into the DMs, say you've got the album, but
I know.
We'll leave that with you. We'll leave that for...
Okay, so funny you say that, because I sort of went out on a whim and I sent this beat to Action Bronson because I just thought, he'd be so good on it. And I'm yet to hear back. So Action, come on. Right back to me. That was a bit of a stretch. I was like, I don't know. He's got millions of followers. I don't know if he'd even see it. But here's to hoping, guys. No, it hasn't.
No, come on, Action.
I'm hoping he would open it, just because, the blue tick sort of helps in those senses. Like if you have a blue tick, it sort of helps with your chances of them seeing it. So I don't know.
Definitely.
Is this the good... I said, I made the perfect beat for you.
That's fantastic. A blue tick and a simple sentence.
Simple. I didn't want to make it long-winded. I want to make it punchy, straight to the point. But also I didn't want to try so hard. Because you know how when you try so hard to be funny or something like that, I don't know how we would,
You have to, it's a very fine line.
It's a fine line for trying too hard and just,
You mentioned earlier that you were on tour in the US. Obviously, 2020 was a bit of a write-off for everyone. It wasn't a great year, but imagine for you it was a little bit more upsetting in terms of being on tour in the US with Steve Aoki for, I have to quickly check, the Neon Future, The Colour of Noise tour, which from what I saw looked massive.
Huge.
Insane.
It was, it was definitely devastating. It was my first, as you said, tour in the US. It was on a bus. Never toured on a bus. With bunk beds and stuff. It was kind of cool. And just the production, like being on tour with an artist that big and seeing how they work and the production value and the team behind it was amazing. It's surreal. It was definitely a moment for me being like, I want to be able to get to this moment in my career. Just the amazing team that it like works tirelessly and like putting all these sets together and these lighting rigs together and these massive trucks. Like it was just like a huge thing. I've never ever done it before. And yeah, it was definitely devastating. Just the impact, obviously, that the pandemic had on everyone. But it was very dicey. We were sort of doing shows and it came to a point where all the other tours around us were cancelling and we were sort of like sitting on it being like, oh, what do we do? Do we keep going? But we were doing like 2,000 cap venues inside, sweat everywhere. Gosh. Yes. And I'm thinking we need to be more cautious here because we don't know what the hell this thing is. Yeah, and so I got like kind of drunk one night and the next day we cancelled the whole thing. And I was like thinking, am I having a panic attack? Am I hungover? Do I have coronavirus? Because I was not sure. I was seeing stars. I was like lightheaded. I was like, I don't have the cough, but I was not feeling good. And of course, I was going into overdrive. I was stressing out and trying to buy a ticket back to Australia. And oh my God, it was so scary. It was so scary. But yeah, devastating. Hopefully we can get back to it. But trying to get out of Australia these days is like really hard. You need to go for at least 3 months, and I just don't think I can afford that, unfortunately. But yeah.
We were talking with someone the other day. Do you think that obviously when borders do open up and there is a little bit more money behind artists so that they can travel, do you think that it is benefit? Like I know that Brux has recently relocated to the States. Do you think it is a thing where to be able to get to that level you were referring to, that you do kind of have to get out of Australia, that there's only so far you can go within Australia?
Definitely. I think just in the genre I'm in, it's not as prevalent here as it is in the States. Like the States is huge bass scene over there. Yeah, and it's just you can sort of get to a point and I just feel like, yeah, you do need to spread your wings, especially just with what I'm doing, unless I do go a more commercial route, which is like I can go that a little bit, but I probably couldn't really. It's like the Chainsmokers. I sort of keep this in my head. The Chainsmokers are like super commercial, but their shows are very not commercial. They do like full-on trap dubstep shows, and I'm like, oh, I could be like that, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just have that in me just to have harder music. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very fair. I think that sometimes, with no disrespect to the Chainsmokers, it is like if you can have a method that's like one for them, one for me, that kind of works. But it is like it's different for every artist.
For sure.
When you are on tour or when you were touring, what was some of the things that you really enjoyed? Like, what are the best things about being on tour? What do you look forward to getting back to?
In terms of like internationally, obviously seeing seeing places you've never been to, of course. In terms of nationally, just being able to reconnect again with people. I think my shows especially, the energy and just the mischief that we all get up to, just like it's just so much fun. And it's definitely just the shows in general. I just love performing and seeing new people and seeing like fans that I haven't seen in ages and stuff like that come to every bloody show is just like incredible. So yeah, the shows in general is the best part.
I have seen a number of Godlands fans on social media they do seem very loyal. You do seem to have a very I'm going to say loyal is the best word to apply to it, fan base. There's also the Thank You for Raging tour, which is kicking off at the end of June. What can fans expect with those shows?
Just absolute chaos. We love chaotic energy. Yeah, just super high energy. I mean, just like every other show that I do, I never I don't go half-assed. I always want to put a great show on and have amazing artists with me as well on the shows. I don't know if we're announcing.
This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
The people coming with me? I don't know.
This is coming out the day of the EP, so it might be.
Might be. Maybe. Well, depending on if we have. The people that I bring on tour or the people that I have on my shows are always the best, and high energy, always high energy. If you guys just want to, it's definitely for people that really want to, like maybe are sad or angry or just need to let go and just party. Now, these are the shows that you can do that, and it's kind of like no holds barred. Like I might do some sort of things that security guards don't really like me doing, but that's what's good about it. Like fuck it, who cares?
That's where the fun is.
Exactly. It's pouring an outrageous amount of vodka into random people's mouths, on stage. This is what we need in a live show. Like exactly. I'm just not one of those DJs that sort of has their heads down. Like I'm always just amongst it and wanting to like jump into the crowd and stuff like that. So definitely high energy and a great time.
That's very, very exciting. I'm very curious to know, because the Adelaide music scene it is a lot better these days. We're based in Adelaide. It in the last 5 to 10 years has become quite, I guess, I feel like the Adelaide music scene within the last 5 to 10 years has grown, and both in terms of acts and the support behind acts, music SA, whatever it may be, has come up. But initially, where did you get your start into coming into music and producing and DJing?
So I started, the idea of becoming a DJ started when I was in maths class in high school, not doing maths, clearly. And my friend showed me a video of the Bloody Beetroots, Cornelius. There's a video. And the Cornelius video was actually filmed at the current club that I work at, Electric Circus. And so I was like, oh, my God, this is crazy. I definitely want to be a DJ. And so I was working at a bakery, and I sort of built up the money to get the gear, because the gear is very expensive. And also help from my brother. Thanks, brother. So I just built up that, and I started just doing house parties. I did like 5-hour house parties for just $100. Like, sick. Idiot. Like, what? Yeah. Literally, like the parents, when I say, yeah, just $100, they're like, really? Okay, yeah, fuck it. Yep, here you go. They were stoked by it. So it got to a point where I sort of came up in the scene. I was one of only a couple female DJs in Adelaide. So we got gigs quite easily because venues wanted female DJs. And that was probably like the one good thing about being a female DJ was that venues sort of looked at you more. So it got to a point with me where I was like, I want to sort of do this more, and you can only get so far, really. I wanted to like tour. I wanted to, do that, and I wanted to be famous. And it got to a point where I was just like, all right, I need to start producing music because I don't think I'm going to get far with just DJing. Like, I wanted to do more. I wanted to, create. And so I started at SAE Institute of Music, and I did a short course. And I had always like messed around with like cracked versions of like Fruity Loops or like cracked versions of Logic or whatever. We've all done it, guys. Come on.
Fruity Loops has definitely bankrupted a few computers.
Been cracked plenty of times. I just didn't really like the layout, the door of Fruity Loops. I didn't really like there wasn't much control for me. I didn't really understand it. But like then I got a cracked version of Ableton. Sorry, Ableton. And then I bought it. So don't come for me. Ableton. Yeah, I bought
fixed. All good.
Fixed. So I started messing around with that. I connected way more with Ableton, and then years after that just kept using it. Did a bit of GarageBand. We all did that when we were younger. It just like sort of progressed from there. And then my friend wanted to manage me, and then he managed me for 10 years and got me into the scene and got me with Triple J, and I posted my songs from Triple J on Earth. If you are an upcoming producer, musician, whatever, definitely upload to Triple J Unearthed. Do it, because you can get your big breaks through there. I'm telling you. So
it has been, that's quite a. It's quite a journey that you've taken from literally $100 for a 5-hour house party to, I imagine that's that won't even get you in the door.
No. Look at anyone in the door. I mean, come on. They copped a good deal.
I imagine that there's some people now that are in talking about like the folklore of like, remember that times Godlands played our house party? That was, yeah.
It was actually Tink at that time, because I used to go under Tink. So if they copped a Tink set, then they're really going back. They're really copping that
they're
folklore.
The OGs.
Yeah, they're the OGs.
Godlands, would you be happy to talk about the playlist that you sent through?
Of course, let's do it.
Now, the playlist that you have sent through, it is quite eclectic. There's quite a bit of hip hop on there, as we've discussed. There's some Kanye, there's some Ice Cube, Travis Scott. Where did the initial love for hip hop come from? I feel like Adelaide has a little bit of a hip hop scene, and like everyone knows Hilltop Hoods, but this is not Hilltop Hoods. Where did your love? No disrespect to Hilltop. No disrespect. Where did your love from hip hop come from?
I have no idea. I like growing up. It was a lot of like soft rock, Electric Light Orchestra, a bit of like pop, Backstreet Boys. Hip hop came in when I was like, okay, I was a humongous fan of Chris Brown. I know, hard to say. Before that, okay, I was a huge fan. I'm telling you, like, I saved his images on my desktop. So, like, I had a folder just for Chris Brown. Like, I was so embarrassing. And, like, I waited for him and Rihanna to come. Like, I stayed up till 4 a.m. at the entertainment centre to get first in line to see him. Like, that sort of fan behaviour. Embarrassing.
Dedication.
Anyway, that is dedication. It started like I I don't know when it started, but it was definitely prevalent through like middle school, heaps like hip hop. And it like hadn't really stopped. And it definitely comes through in my music. Like bass and trap obviously comes from hip hop. It's just a harder form, I suppose, of it. But there's definitely nuances of it sprinkled in my music. And yeah, Kanye, I've been a huge Kanye fan since graduation, since last registration actually. I've been a huge fan. And it's hard to keep defending these people. You can't keep defending them. I always choose the bad ones.
Kanye,
the bad boys.
I feel that it's not as notorious as Chris Brown, but he has had his own set of issues. And
yeah, I mean, look, mental health, huge. Like you can't. But there's just some things he's obviously done. But anyway, and Travis Scott was a late runner, and I've just ever since Drugs You Should Try It. Yeah, I saw it on Tumblr, and same with ASAP Rocky. I discovered him on Tumblr. I was a huge Tumblr girl. And yeah, I discovered ASAP Rocky off Tumblr. That's where he got his big break. And then that was the same as Travis Scott. I heard one of his songs on Tumblr, and since then I was like massive fans.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's it. That's very fair. As you mentioned before, a little bit of Electric Light Orchestra. Mr. Blue Sky also made it onto the playlist. A bit of soft rock.
Yes.
Would that have come from your parents' music taste? Are your parents musical?
Yeah, definitely Dad cranked that on the weekends back in the 90s. So, yeah, it's just a more nostalgic song for me. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, it just brings me back to those times growing up. Yeah, I think if I was to get married, not that I believe in the patriarchy and whatever, but if I was to get married, yeah, that would definitely be at my wedding, that song, I reckon. Yeah. So, yeah, just has like more nostalgia meaning for me than anything.
Yeah, that's very fair. That's,
and the Beach Boys was definitely another band we used to listen to a lot.
I feel like some of those early bands, whichever they are, like when you're a kid, like their formative memories that just kind of stick with you.
Definitely.
Yeah. One that might not be a formative memery is Little Nas X, Montero, Call Me By Your Name, which you've included. And it might be. Look, I don't know. I don't know what memories are associated with it. Firstly,
what, you don't remember like going down on a stripper pole, going down to Satan and giving him a lap dance?
Back in the early 90s, that is what I was doing, yes.
We've all done that, okay.
We've all done it, guys. Come on. Firstly, did you see Saturday Night Live on the weekend? Did you see his performance?
Okay, I saw the snippets, and apparently his pants split. Hilarious. And then sometimes I think, is it like that Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson moment? Was this planned? But I don't know. I think his shock was like, those pants were pretty freaking tight. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a bit of a blowout there. But yeah, he's amazing. Incredible queen. Love him.
The clip from SNL looks like it's genuine shock. Like I won't get it up, but the look on his face is like, fuck,
yeah, he's like, shit.
Done this one. Yeah.
My dick and balls is about to fall out. And I can't imagine he'd be wearing much under it, because you can't have too many layers under those pants. I'm telling you that right now. He's probably like, I'm about to flash all of America.
Exactly. I was going to ask what the song, like, why do you like the song? Deviating away from Little Nas's genitals, what does the song mean to you?
Well, it's a big fuck you to the homophobes, isn't it? Love that. Yeah, it's you just never see stuff like this, and this is why he's such a pivotal artists these days, and especially for the younger generation. He's someone you should definitely look up to because he's breaking boundaries. And I know it's been happening, Boy George and all that sort of stuff, and Prince, and it's not like it hasn't been done, but especially in times like this where hatred and all that stuff is so prevalent on the internet these days. When an artist like Lil Nas, especially when, the Southerners are looking up to him with Old Town Road, to then be smacked in the face with him coming down a stripper pole with knee-high boots, it's just so iconic. It's amazing, and it's definitely what kids these days need to be okay with who they are, and he lets them be okay. And he does that with amazing visuals, and he should only ever be celebrated. So we love him.
I think just to speak to what you were saying, that while it has been done before, like Boy George, Prince, as you mentioned, there is, I think that, not to say there hasn't been anyone in the 2010s, but you do need someone new for each generation, and I think that he is that person for this generation. Definitely.
Yeah.
Godlands, thank you very much for coming on the podcast today. I do appreciate it.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Godlands for her time. Thank You for Raging is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to attend the Thank You for Raging tour or stream the EP. We also want to give a huge shout out to Katie at Positive Feedback for helping out with today's interview. You can find a link to our Spotify playlist in the show notes, where you'll be able to listen to all of Godland's picks. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Thursday and Friday morning, with guest playlists streaming on Spotify at the same time. You can follow the playlist profile on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
This podcast is brought to you by eHarmony, the dating app to find someone you can be yourself with. Why doesn't eHarmony allow copy and paste in first messages? Because you are unique, and your conversations should reflect that. eHarmony wants you to find someone who will get you. How are you going to know who gets you? If people send you the same generic conversation starters they message everyone else. Conversations that actually help you get to know each other. Imagine that. Get who gets you on eHarmony. Sign up today.